Hi guys, and welcome to the Valley Local. I don't do videos very often, but I thought that this would be a good one to do because if you've been following along the page, you've seen dozens of things like this, rock castings. Just plain white rock castings. Hopefully they're not going to fall off. I've got them stuck here to duct tape for coloring. And I've been experimenting with some different methods. Thanks, Ralph Ranzetti and Clark Kooning, for the input and tips. I have come up with a technique that's working well for me. And maybe if you guys think that these are decent looking, or the colors that you're looking to do, or what looks right to you out in the field for your own efforts, just follow along and you can see what colors I'm using and how I'm going about doing it. This is literally about as impromptu a video as you can imagine. I would normally use the gimbal and it would be all nice and professional, but I figured strike while the iron's hot. This is something that I'm doing right at this moment, and figured it would be fun for this last tray of rocks to show you exactly what I do. And hopefully, if I do things right, it'll what you'll see will end up looking more like this, which is the tray I just finished doing. What I do to start out, and I will put a link to the blog post in the comments of what I do, is I use basically three colors and basically stipple them on. I am using excuse the cheapness, I guess, but I'm just using regular craft paints from Walmart, $1 a piece. I mean, these are just regular plain old craft paints. This is Deco Art Americana Raw Sienna is my first color. Same thing, Deco Art Americana Burnt Umber as my second color. And then I just am using a black, apple barrel black. And what I do is I add one tablespoon of water. I use these little plastic Dixie cups so they don't get all waterlogged. A tablespoon of water into each of 3 cups. And then I add 20 drops of the raw sienna in 1 cup, 20 drops of raw umber in the other cup, and 7 drops of black in the 3rd cup. Mix it up really good. And then I've tried different brushes, sponges, what have you. What I'm using is an old round brush that I got. It's a Faber-Castell brush, actually, that my wife gave to me. So your mileage may vary, but for this, what I found important is that it's a round, fairly just a round kind of horse-haired, cheapo brush that I'm using to stipple the color on. And so I'm starting out with white plaster castings. I'm using the Super Strength Plaster by Woodland Scenics. It's part 1199, I believe. I think it's a hydrocal. I'm not quite sure. It just says it's Super Strength Plaster. And so anyway, I've got the first color that I am doing is the raw sienna, and I'm literally just stippling it on, kind of on the blog post. I actually painted on the color, and the results came out pretty good back in the day with that blog post. But since then, painting it on, it just seems that the colors are all kind of running together. So what I'm doing now is what's commonly referred to as the leopard spotting technique. And I'm literally just covering about 1/3 of the casting, just hitting it, spotting with the color. And no rhyme or reason. Folks that know me will be shocked at that revelation that I'm not being super careful or anal about it. And frankly, that the more random and everything you are, the better result you'll get. I just wiped the brush off on this paper towel, and here's how it looks after the first thing. So again, I'm not going to tilt this too much because I'm afraid they'll fall off, and that would be a bad thing. So then I just move on to the raw umber, and we'll stir that up a bit because I just made it. And then I'm shaking it off so I don't end up drenching these castings. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of stippling on, hitting the white spots that I didn't hit before with the raw sienna. So I'm just kind of going around and trying to capture the white. It's funny, trying to do this live on the video here. I am going to be as curious as you are as to whether and to what extent the result will come out as good as my efforts earlier in the day today. But again, just trying to hit everything that isn't doesn't already have some color to it. Again, just stippling it on, dipping it in. Very, very curious as to whether and to what extent this is going to come out satisfactorily. Fortunately, plaster is relatively cheap, and I have a buttload of castings that I did. One thing that you may notice when you're doing this technique is you may see some of the color pooling in various areas. And it's easy enough just to, if you need to, you can daub it up and then just transfer it to another casting, or you can, wipe your brush dry and wick it up that way. You just, you may, or depending on the effect that you want, if you want it to be a little bit darker in a certain crevice or whatever, maybe you want it to pool up. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going back and hitting some areas that still look kind of white. And you don't have to hit every area that's white, because the final thing you're going to do is you're going to do a black wash and hit everything that way. And then whatever isn't covered so far will get covered then. So now the black wash, all these are washes, but the black is even a thinner wash because it's only 7 drops to the tablespoon as opposed to 20 drops. And just load up your brush a little bit, and I am just kind of, it's like anything I'm learning with scenery or any of the more right-brain aspects of the hobby. You just really got to just try it. I think these are not going to come out quite as great as the others. Not quite sure why. I think part of it is that maybe I am loading up too much of the black, because it looks a lot more leopard spotty than it did before, and less of the color is coming through. So so really what you want to do to maybe remedy that is make sure that your brush is unloaded of the black, and just use just a little tiny bit. Make sure it's you shake it off good, and then just add it sparingly. And we're going to see how this is going to turn out. It seems that the lighter that I do it, the better. But this is one of those things where, and one of the frustrating things, one person's frustration is another person's opportunity for different effects, but I'm trying to get a consistent effect, and I've been pretty consistent most of the afternoon as luck would have it, this is a little less consistent. So I'll be, again, interested to see how this comes out. But like I was saying before, you want to just try a bunch of different things. Try, brushing a little bit if you want to blend things in a little bit more. If it looks too stark, there's nothing that says you can't go back and add some of the earlier colors back, which is what I'm going to do for some of these that came out really dark with too much black. I'm going to hit them again with the raw sienna. See how that comes out. Now some of this will lighten up as it dries, and I may try and speed that up a little bit with the hair dryer. Yes, this one came out really dark, so I'm going to lighten that back up with the raw sienna. Actually, you go back over it with the raw sienna, and you can salvage a lot of this that may have come out too black. And then, for the variety, maybe you want a few that are a little more black than others. So, again, your mileage may vary. I would recommend that you make lots of rock castings so you can have a lot of practice and have the most chance of being able to get something that you like. You can certainly go back and dry brush these castings later, which I may do. Notice that one thing I was doing earlier today was I was actually using the blow dryer to blow dry these between each color to dry them out. And this technique that I'm doing right now, as you notice, is just one color right after the other, and it certainly goes a lot quicker. Yeah, there's some of these that I'm castings that I may not end up using, but yeah, some of these other ones are coming out pretty good, I think. Again, if you then went too much with the brown, really, the raw sienna, really, you can come back and just stipple on some more of the black. Yeah, I think these are actually going to work out okay. But again, your mileage may vary. Let's see, I'll just real quick get out the hair dryer, maybe accelerate things a little bit. Especially on the darker ones. See if they'll lighten up. Could be that my black ratio might have been a little too strong, so that might explain why these came out a little bit darker. But again, not too bad. And this is, again, hopefully they won't fall. Here, so hopefully that's coming out okay with the lighting. But I'll put some pictures on the blog, and what you'll find interesting when you see the actual pictures is that almost all of these, the vast majority of these were done, especially the smaller ones, were done with the exact same technique, the exact same colors in the exact same way, and yet you get there is a lot of variety, and so that is actually good. I think you don't want everything to look exactly the same. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. It's getting close to 15 minutes now. Hopefully you found this enjoyable. I don't usually do hands-on clinics live like this, but so be kind to the comments. This is one of the first times, actually, I think it may be my first time that I've done something like this, especially impromptu. So hopefully you'll find this technique helpful. Try it yourself. Good luck if you do. Please let me know how it goes in the comments. If you do try this technique, let me know how it turns out and whether you like it or whether you have something, some other technique that works for you. Share it with us in the comments. And in the meantime, I hope you are having happy modeling and a great weekend. and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.